What we're going to do here is take a quick look at some of the range control things that we can do with respect to running a neuro-based range, just to make it easier to see what's going on. On the video, we've got a range set up here where I've got 9 lanes. Each of them has kind of a USPSA silhouette just to represent that there's a target. And then I've got one neuro set up for each of the lanes. And each of the neuros has 2 diffractive lenses on it, or projection lenses that'll project shape. So in the red laser port, you're going to see a pistol, and in the green laser port, you're going to see a triangle that is oriented in the up position or pointed up. So there are 2 different sets of lenses, just for anybody watching the video trying to figure out exactly what hardware is here. These lenses are set up for a shoot house CQB sort of application. So they are intended to be projected at about 1.5 meters and be roughly 22 centimeters. The lenses that you'd be using on a traditional lane range, which would, basically match this layout, are actually a different set of lenses that are set up to be optimized for 22 centimeters at about 10 meters. Just so that's clear about what hardware is out here. I don't have them out here currently because it doesn't really make any sense to do it indoors. We obviously have also the shooter isolation tool, which allows each individual shooter to be paired with a wrist-worn sensor to their individual neuro or set of neuros on their lane, so they can get their individual shooting performance feedback, rather than sort of our traditional model of you don't really know what you did because everybody's shooting. And then we'll be controlling all of this in a couple different ways from the iPad, which is what we want to look at here today. Let's take a look at what this control application looks like. So we go into the control function, and there are 2 options available, which is synced lanes and individual lanes. For this video, we're going to look at synced lanes. So you can see I've got a display up at the top that tells me the communication status. Seeing them all green means I have communication with all of these lanes. This is my ability to control the laser outputs. And down at the bottom of the screen, I have some other options. So what I'm going to do is press initiate. That will send all of those neuros into session, and I can now manually control what they do. So for example, I've now turned the red laser on, which is giving a red gun projection on each of the lanes. I can change that to blinking, and I can also control with a tactile option where when I hold it, they will be on, and when I remove my finger, they go away. That allows you to present a shoot stimulus, get your head out of the iPad, look at what the shooter or shooters are doing, and then have tactile control to make that shoot stimulus go away. When I'm done, pressing that initiate button again will take all of the neuros out of session. They'll go through querying the ISOs, querying any other neuros that are involved in the lane. And then when everything's ready to go again, you will see all of the lanes turn to green, which is now puts me in a position where I could initiate another session and run another drill. We also have the ability, because manually running the range, while it is certainly something that is necessary, can become quite cumbersome over a long period of time. So we also have the ability to run drills. These are the preloaded drills and lists of drills that come inside all of the neuros. So what we're going to do here, just as an example, I'm going to pick this marksmanship list. I'll just tap that. It'll go ahead and send those out to all of the lanes. When it's complete, I'll get a message. And I've now loaded that list up on all of these individual neuros. I will untoggle initiate locally, allowing me to control the range from here. You can see in my execution order, this list is going to run sequentially. So the first drill on the list, then the second drill on the list, then the third drill on the list. Press initiate, and you will watch all of the lanes run the same drill in order at the same time. And at the end of the drill, they are now querying, and you can see, if you look up here at the top of the screen, when everything is ready to go and you're ready to run the next drill, that'll turn green, telling you that you're ready to initiate your next one. If you wanted to have your shooters potentially do something different, we can use this slider, right? And now each NURO will randomly get a drill off that list. So just because the guy on lane 1 is shooting doesn't necessarily mean that the guy on lane 9 is going to shoot. All right, so now when I press initiate, you'll notice that each of these may get a different drill, which in this case is just an exposure of the red laser. But they got different time lengths of exposure depending on which drills from the list was run. And once again, they're going through their query process. When you're ready to run the next drill, it will indicate to you that the range is ready. One other feature for range control that we have here, which I personally really like to use, is local initiation. So I can press that toggle, and now I can literally set the iPad down, and the lane's able to be run here locally. So just pressing the initiate button on the NUROs allows the pace of training to now be pushed down to the pace of the individual student or the individual learner. So there are pros and cons to this, depending on where you're at in training. But once people understand what drill they're doing, they understand what they are trying to learn out of the drill. This can be a very, very useful way to manage the range, where the NURO system itself is managing the range for you. It's providing the control of what the shooter does. And now as the instructor or instructors, you can focus on teaching, the students can focus on learning, and there is a lot less effort that has to go into managing what the shooters are doing and why, because the system is doing that for you. And of course, while we don't have it set up out here right now, every shooter, if you're using ISOs, will get their individual shooting performance feedback. So one of the other things that we have available here is the ability to create custom content. This can be done directly on the NURO devices. There are some upcoming software tools that will make that process a lot more user-friendly. But all of your content creation can be done on the NUROs, and that's how all of these were built. So these are our drills that we run in our classes. You can see I'll just pick list 1, send it out to all the NUROs. And when it's done, we're all set. I would like to take control back here to the iPad, so I'll run it from the iPad. And now list 1 is going to run where a random drill from that list is being run. You can see I sent it out where the execution order is in random. One of the other things that I do want to point out here, and I want to make it clear that this feature is not yet available live, but when I say that it is coming, like it's built, I'm going to show you how it works. But as of February 8th, 2006, this is not yet released for live application. And that is the ability to run and control our PAR Plus mode here from the iPad. So you can set all of your settings for how you want this to run, and then go ahead and push those PAR Plus settings out to the devices. You can see that was received, and I can choose to have the students initiate locally or retain centralized control. And so now each of these NUROs is running its own individualized PAR Plus drill, which is generated locally at that NURO level using those settings. At the end of the drill, the NUROs are going to go out, they're going to query any subs that are involved and any of the ISOs that are involved. They'll pull that data back and provide those analytics, including your PAR time, if you've got multiple targets, target to target transition times, etc., which is available for the shooter directly on the NURO. So that is a feature not currently live, but is coming here within a couple of months. One other capability that I want to point out here really quick is that the Neuro does give you the capability of having, say, for example, my guys on lane 1 and 2 are doing really, really well compared to how the rest of the range is doing. And so maybe I want to give them a different drill to do. So I have sent out drill list 5 to everybody, right? And so drill list 5, just so we can see what that looks like. Right, it's going to be randomly sending out a drill off the list, which is presenting a red shoot stimulus. And the system will go through and do its query. Once all the lanes are ready to go, they'll all turn green. Now, let's say my guys over here on lanes 1 and 2 are doing really well and they need a different drill to get value out of the training, or to get the optimal value out of the training. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and momentarily disable communication with all the lanes except 1 and 2. And now I'm going to select, let's see, I'll just pick drill list 6 because that gives a green shoot stimulus. Right, now I've sent a different drill to those 2 lanes. I come back, enable the rest of my lanes, and while the Neuro thinks it hasn't sent that drill to the other lanes, all the lanes currently are set up with the drill. And so now when I initiate, see that the lanes over here are going to get a green stimulus, where the rest of the lanes are still running drill list 5. So I'm able to segment these guys, and without reconfiguring the entire range, I can give individual students or individual groups of students individualized content that might be more applicable to them. But I can still control the range centrally. I can still run the range centrally. I still have the same control features going on. And I can still, change this where we would be initiating the lane, range locally, or pulling control back here. So once again, a lot of options to be able to control the range, control what your students are doing, and individualize the learning environment, which is significantly going to improve learning outcomes. Really quick overview here, but it should have given you a good idea of what capabilities are there as far as lane control, and some different ways that you can manage what shooters are doing on the range to give a lot of variability, a lot of requirement for situational awareness and agility and responsiveness to what they're seeing in front of them, without a tremendous amount of work on the part of the instructor. And in some cases, or particularly once people understand how the basic system works and what is it they're trying to achieve with it, you can effectively set Neuro to run the range itself. Pick a different drill, send it out, let people work on that for a while. Neuro is running the range, instructors can focus on instructing, and the students can focus on learning. And a lot of that traditional effort and grind that goes into a range management process, which now has to be done manually, is completely taken care of at the system level. And then we add to that everybody's now able to get shooting performance data on every single repetition in ways that have never been possible before. So from a range management and also a learning standpoint, that's what we designed it for, is to be a very, very powerful tool. So thanks for watching, and check out some of our other videos, and we'll keep more content, more additional info about the NURO System coming.